Don't give up on those dreams. It may take a while. For me, it took quite a while, but it can indeed happen.
I'm Amy Jo Martin. Welcome to the Why Not Now show. You know that thing you've been thinking about doing? Yeah, that one. Why not now? Have you ever actually taken the time to ask yourself, what's stopping me? Let's talk it through. This is your chance to give that idea the attention it deserves and take action. Each episode, I have a chat with a fascinating person, from entrepreneurs to athletes, celebrities, my parents, rocket scientists, and all walks of life. We talk through a critical time when they've asked themselves, why not now? We dissect that day or even that moment, step by step.
Just let go.
Megan Alexander is on the show today, and she is the ultimate Renaissance woman. It used to be that we would have hobbies and we'd have our job. We had, maybe something we did on the weekends, and then we had our career. And then now we're entering this world of, we're having side hustles and then our 9-to-5 job. But what Megan's doing is she's found a way to integrate all of the things that she's passionate about into who she is, what she's doing, into her career. So she has this umbrella of storytelling, and she's also a national TV host who you probably would recognize from Inside Edition on TV. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a singer, a songwriter, a mother, and she's found a way to integrate these things together versus compartmentalize. Megan has a new children's book that's coming out called One More Hug. And she also wrote a song called One More that accompanies the book. And when she entered the Renegade Brand Bootcamp, one of her goals was to figure out how she can show up and be all of these things at once. And so what she really has been able to do is transcend the what she's doing and really dig into the who and the why. And that allows for everything not only to coexist, but for everything to build on each other. So Megan's able to show up in her personal and professional worlds as all of herself versus compartmentalize what she happens to be doing right then. It's been amazing to witness how once Megan started integrating things together, everything started to elevate. And you can kind of just see the bigger picture. And it's amazing how much her world, personally and professionally, has expanded as the result. In this episode, we talk through exactly how Megan got her start, how she plays to win versus plays not to lose. And Megan shares some of her top tips on how she juggles this, how she juggles being a mom of 3 kids, one of which is a newborn, lives in 2 different cities, is a singer, songwriter, author, speaker, national TV host, among other things, and how she's able to remain present. All right, everyone, I've got an announcement. As of today, we are officially enrolling for the 2021 Renegade Accelerator Program, formerly called the Renegade Brand Bootcamp. Okay, so who is this program for? What is it? The Renegade Accelerator is for driven female leaders, executives, and entrepreneurs ready to massively increase their impact and income. The program is for like-minded, like-hearted women all over the globe. The experience is intimate, live, real-time, virtual, and it's led by me. Our curriculum is equal parts education, practical education, collaboration, and accountability. In the accelerator, you'll learn directly from me, and I share everything I've learned over the past 20 years in business.
We meet in real time to learn, discuss, and grow together. This is high touch. I'll teach you a variety of things, from personal branding to the business side of public speaking, podcasting, publishing, marketing partnerships, how to productize your intellectual property, and we even talk about investing. I teach you all about the different types of investing in order to build your personal wealth. You will also learn the renegade mentality, which is a key ingredient in your success to generate real results. This program is the career love of my life because I get to curate a mosaic of driven, like-minded, like-hearted women who come together to lift each other and themselves up to the next level. After the Renegade Accelerator, you become a member of my top-level alumni community. This group of unmatched women who are making a positive impact is personally curated by me. The relationship building and networking opportunities are endless, and this collective of real, valuable connections will be something that you have forever. If you're at the point where you are ready to take action and accelerate, head to renegadeaccelerator.com. You can sign up for more information where I will guide you in determining if the program and the timing is right for you. If not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Why not now? Head to renegadeaccelerator.com.
Megan, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, Amy Jo, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to have you here, and let's hop in. Can you tell me about a time when you had a big decision to make and you had to ask yourself, why not now?
Yes, I feel like I have so many stories that I could share with you, but the biggest one for me, the one that stands out in my mind and was such a pivotal moment in my life, was when I was graduating college. I went to a small Christian college in California named Westmont. Not a lot of people have heard of it. Small liberal arts school. And I had a job offered to me at the college to work for the school. And, you know, it's senior year and everybody's lining up their jobs and deciding what they're going to do. And all I can say is I felt like so many people around me were playing it safe. They wanted to stay in that city or return to their hometown. And I just had this feeling in my soul that if I was ever going to take a leap of faith and really go for something, that was the moment. And I had wanted to either go to LA or New York and pursue entertainment and pursue my dreams of working, you know, in the entertainment industry. And I had just gotten back from Nashville, Tennessee. My roommate in college was from Nashville. And something in my soul said, okay, why don't you just move to Nashville and try your hand at the entertainment industry there? And my dad said, you know, God bless my parents. They're totally supportive of me going after my dreams. But they said, hey, why don't you just take this job that's being offered to you and just play it safe for a while? And I just knew that was the why not now moment. If I don't move to Nashville now and do something kind of crazy, I just felt I never would be able to do it again. And so I did it, Amy Jo. I said, I got to go for it. And I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I didn't know a soul after graduating college, did not have any job lined up. And I just went for it and just moved into a teeny tiny little apartment and started knocking on doors and sending out resumes. And for me, the rest is history. And so that was my why not now moment. And I think about it a lot. And just, you know, when you feel that stirring in your soul, why not now? You got to say yes and go for it. And I know it's scary, but gosh, it's worth it.
Wow. And that's what's fascinating is that, I mean, fast forward and it's paid off in a huge way. And you've had such an amazing career and continue to have. I think going back to what you said about playing it safe and how sometimes we're playing not to lose versus playing to win. And there's such a big difference. And what you said about your parents and their reaction, I think is so critical because oftentimes the people around us, they do want us to be safe. They want to keep us safe, whether it's parents, partners, friends. And so tell us a little bit more about how that conversation went. And did you just
Did you just kind of have to say, trust me? Or how did that dynamic go? Because I think a lot of people get stuck there. They don't decide to follow through because of the people surrounding them that are wanting to think that they're keeping them safe.
Sure. Well, I think now that I'm a parent and I have 3 children myself, I can see that in that moment they want me to succeed. They want me to do well, and a job is a job, right? And so I'm sure, looking back when your soon to be college graduate has a job opportunity, any parent's like, hallelujah,
yes,
please accept it,
Go.
Yeah, exactly. We're grateful that you have a job in front of you. I think it also was truly leaving home, because even though I grew up in Seattle and went to college in California, it was still the West Coast. And for some reason, California didn't seem as far away. And so I think moving to Nashville, it was just truly trying something new, going away from home, and not having an organized plan in front of me. I mean, by all means, you got to think through things and plan to the best of your ability. I'm all for that. But you got to also take that leap of faith and try something scary, because that's how we grow. And something about moving to a town where I didn't know anybody really intrigued me and energized me. And now, Amy Jo, you know this about me. I've lived so many other places. I've lived in San Antonio, Texas, New York City, back to Nashville. There is something so good about moving somewhere and stretching yourself and meeting people and getting outside of your comfort zone. And so I think, once my parents saw, okay, she needs to do this, they were supportive. They saw that I was going to really hustle, and I worked like 3 or 4 different jobs in Nashville when I moved there to be able to pay the rent and get myself off the ground. But yeah, I think, I do think those around us sometimes, they are, they're wanting to protect us, like you said, protect us from losing. And so they want us to play it safe. But sometimes you got to just, say, hey, I appreciate your concern, but I need to do this. And that's part of growing up. That was a growing up moment for me where I said, I got to go do this on my own. And you can always come home. That's the thing. That's what somebody said to me too. When I moved to Nashville, they said, you know what, go for it, because you can always come home.
Well, and so let's take the next couple of steps in your career. And just to clarify, did you move to Nashville thinking more entertainment as in you, the entertainer, because you're a singer-songwriter, but you also are on the other side of entertainment in the media. So when you moved there, what was your intention, or were you not sure?
Yeah, well, I will be honest that I thought, I'm going to try my hand at country music. I've been a big fan of country music my whole life. It's obviously, this is the city for it, Nashville, Tennessee. With technology, people can really pursue it from anywhere nowadays. But this was, I graduated college 2002. And so it still was the Mecca for country music. And so in the back of my mind, I thought, oh, that'll be my side hustle. I can continue to pursue music while still I just said to myself, somehow I want to work in the industry. Somehow I want to be a part of it. Whether it is a singer-songwriter, whether it's on the promotion side of it. I ended up getting involved in the media side of it because my first gig was a part-time job for a radio company that supplied traffic and weather reports for all the radio stations and a few television stations in Nashville. And they said, you have a good voice for this. You should give it a try. And so that ended up being, my first entrance into the industry. And then I tell people, if you can just get your foot in the door somehow, it's all related. The publicists talk to the radio stations about new music. And if you work in radio, you're inevitably going to be rubbing elbows with television because a lot of people cross over. And so somehow I just wanted to get involved. But I will say on the music side of things, I quickly realized how many talented people there are in the industry and how many amazing singers there are, and that I probably wasn't going to be able to pay the bills doing that full time. So it quickly became more of a hobby, but it's something that I stayed involved with, since then. And now, over 15 years later, finally got to release a song and do the official songwriter singer thing. But
yes.
That was my whole passion, was just somehow be involved. And that's what I tell young people that want to get into this industry is it's all connected. So just get your foot in the door somehow.
Oh, such good advice. And now you're doing both. I mean, that's what's so cool about this. And you've integrated
all aspects of that industry into your world. You're playing a role in the different facets. You have a new book coming out, One More Hug, which is accompanied by a song that you wrote and perform. And then on the flip side, you have your media side where you're on national television daily. One of the things that I just love about kind of your dynamic, Megan, is that you've been able to integrate so many different things that you love into your world professionally and personally, and they can coexist together. And I know when you entered into the Renegade Brand Bootcamp, that was a goal of yours to not really be compartmentalized, but to be able to integrate in a way to where you really can kind of leverage but enjoy all aspects of your passions. So can you talk a little bit first about the media side, and then how you kind of gave yourself permission to start doing other things and maybe coming through that identity, maybe misconception of, oh, I am this. And you basically said, no, actually, I'm a lot of things. So that was like 17 questions in one, which I know I'm not supposed to do. And you're the interviewer, but start wherever you want.
Yeah. What you just asked is fascinating, Amy Jo, because I feel like, gosh, maybe 10 years ago, people still had their main gig, their main job, and then they had things that they, quote, quietly did on the side. I really feel like just recently, we as a culture have embraced the Renaissance woman or Renaissance man that tries to incorporate everything into their life, and it's complementary and it's seamless and it's connecting. But I feel like just as recently as 10 years ago, you were a singer, and if you wrote books, you did it on the side. Maybe you even used a different name, in writing those books, because you tried to keep them all separate. In fact, I remember conversations I had with people in this industry, a fellow news reporter who also, enjoyed cooking and would say, oh yeah, I don't really talk about that at work. That's just something I do on the weekends. Just recently, I think, have we begun to embrace that you can do all these things and they can all complement each other, and family as well. I'll just quickly share with you that when I got pregnant with my now 8-year-old son, Chase, I was in New York City, had been with Inside Edition for 2 years. My husband and I are living the New York City lifestyle, 100% career. We're loving it. And when I turned 30, we kind of said, gosh, we always said we wanted to have a couple of kids. And so do we need to get going here? And when I got pregnant at age 30, the common reaction in New York and in my industry was people said, oh my gosh, why so young? Why do you want to have kids so young? But I said, and of course I'd got the question, are you going to keep working? Which so many working women, we all just roll our eyes and say, we can't believe we still get that question. But nowadays, fast forward 8 years, I think the world and culture is so much more encouraging and accepting and uplifting of us doing all these different things and seeing that life is rich and it is much more interesting when you have a lot of different things going. So I'm really grateful because I feel like I saw that transition, and maybe you feel it too, Amy Jo, where, my gosh, my kids have helped my career, meeting their friends' parents and networking at a soccer game. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I never thought just how rewarding it would be all around. And me meeting, perhaps somebody in the industry and finding out that they have kids that are my kids' age, and then we all get together and life becomes so much more rich. My boss at Inside Edition, I'll never forget when I told him I was pregnant, I was so nervous because I thought, gosh, is he going to want to move on from me in a year or two? And I remember a big old smile came over his face and he was like, that's fantastic. Congratulations. And he's been nothing but encouraging with all 3 of my pregnancies, and wants me to show off my bump on television or somehow pull my kids into a story. So I am so grateful because I was scared. I mean, I will be totally honest. I was scared with how family and kids might affect my career, but I can honestly say it's made it even better. And I'm so grateful that society today, I really believe society today is doing an even better job embracing us to have this rhythm and this balance of it all.
I so agree. And it's a great kind of, if we look at a timeline of, yes, it used to be hobbies and things we did on the weekend, and then it's now kind of side hustles. But now there's a next step where it's true integration, and you're a perfect example of that. And by the way, congratulations on your third child. You have a newborn at home, and you're also launching a book and a song and continuing to kind of live in two different cities, right? And I'm not sure if you're quite back to that yet, but you're doing a lot, let's put it that way. But you seem to be in a rhythm, I guess. And that's something I've been thinking a lot about, is rhythm versus balance, with a tribute to Kenny Tomlin, who actually wrote about that recently, who's been on the show as well. So can you tell me a little bit about how it felt knowing you're expecting your child, you have a book coming out, you still have this huge career at Inside Edition, and in addition to a song you wrote, when you were planning ahead and thinking through, okay, let's look at what does October and November of 2019 look like, how did you mentally kind of prepare for this?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't think in many ways you can prepare. I think sometimes you got to just go for it and say, you know what, I'm going to figure it out along the way. I'm blessed with a husband that always says that to me. He says, you know what, we don't have all the answers. We may not even have the roadmap right now, but we're going to figure it out. And I'm so grateful that he says that, because that's me, taking a leap of faith off the diving board without, knowing what's coming next. But, Amy Jo, I think it was so important that I do your Renegade camp when I did it. I did it in February. I was pregnant just a couple of months. I think I was 3 months pregnant when I traveled to your Renegade boot camp and entered the program. I think it was the perfect time because I had all of this on my plate. I wasn't totally sure how it was going to all play out. And I think that's the time where you need to step back and do something like I did, which was take a weekend, get with some other women that all have goals and dreams too, and just talk about it and think deeply about what we want out of life, which is what your program does. Start getting it down on paper, start writing, start typing on your laptop. One of the best ways I can sort of put this into color for people is I had a friend in New York City when I decided to write my first book, and I was staring at the blank computer screen and wasn't sure how to begin a chapter. Some of the best advice I ever got was from a friend of mine in media in New York. She said, okay, put on the timer for 30 minutes and just write. Don't think about it. Don't spell check. Just write for 30 minutes. And then when the timer goes off on your cell phone, stop, go do something else, go get a cup of coffee, go outside, whatever, take a break, and then come back and read it. And then you'll be able to organize it and edit it. And I kind of think that's what the boot camp was for me. It was me going, okay, I'm just going to jump in. I need to start processing this because I'm not sure what the future holds, but let's just start working through it. And you had us, make lists and brainstorm and talk about our strengths and our weaknesses. And that was a light bulb moment for me where I used to think of myself as the Inside Edition TV reporter who then does on the side, writes books, writes music, also is a mother and all these other things. And at the boot camp, the light bulb went off and I thought, wait, I'm a storyteller in all these different ways. I tell stories with journalism. I tell stories with my music. I read my kids stories at night and tell them stories. I enjoy networking. That was me being able to encompass it all and look at it fully. So I would encourage people, if you think you're not ready, maybe this is exactly the time for you to go on a retreat or to enter a program like the boot camp. I think that's when you're most ready, I think, to work through that process.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hi, everyone. If you are digging this podcast, please do us a favor and subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It just takes a moment and it means a ton to us. It's been incredible to witness how you now identify as, and you've transcended a line item on your resume, and you are a storyteller. It's a very important one, what you do day in and day out and what a lot of people know you for. But now the awareness is it's bigger. There's an umbrella as Megan the storyteller. And speaking of which, let's talk about your new book. So One More Hug, which really brings in an aspect of your life that you haven't exposed a ton yet within your professional world, and that is motherhood. And so tell us about the book and how it came about, the concept, and everything else you can possibly share.
Well, thank you. Well, the book came about, I'll just back up really quickly. My first book came out October 2016, and it was called Faith in the Spotlight, Thriving in Your Career While Staying True to Your Beliefs. And it was sort of my conversation on faith and work and how, I believe that if someone doesn't want to sell their soul to get ahead in their career, it is possible in any industry to stay true to your values, and also, succeed and do really well. And so that's sort of my guidebook for the next generation. And at my book party in New York City for that book, a friend of mine had just put out a children's book, and her editor showed up, and we got in conversation, and she was learning about me and my family, and she just said, well, would you ever want to do a children's book? And I said, gosh, I hadn't really thought about it. I certainly love them. I read them to my kids, but, gosh, I don't know what I'd write about. And we just kept in contact, and she, I got to her office, gosh, maybe a year or two later, and she said, share your ideas with me. What do you have? And Amy Jo, I came in with all these ideas about being Supergirl and taking on the world. And I just thought I would write a book for girls and that they can be high achievers and superheroes in life. And she kind of listened to me and she loved it. But she said, well, tell me about your family. Tell me about your life right now. And without even thinking about it, I just said, oh, gosh, I have 2 boys. And, to be honest, one of them is having some anxiety right now getting on the school bus. When the school bus rolls up in our neighborhood, he runs back to me for 5 or 6 more hugs. I mean, he must do that 6 times before he gets on the bus. One more hug, mama. One more hug, mama. And then he's the last kid on the bus as the doors close, and he looks back and waves and was really having some anxiety getting on the school bus. And this editor at Simon & Schuster looked at me and she said, Megan, that's your book. That's your book right there. One more hug. And I thought, oh my gosh. She said, that's your life. And so any encouragement for anyone out there that ever wants to write a book, write what you know. I really thought I needed to go high and mighty and, be super creative and have this story all ready to go. And it amazes me that she just wanted me to tell my story. And she said, that's your story. That's what you need to write about. And Amy Jo, once we had that conversation, I mean, the story just came so easily because I was writing about my son and writing about my hopes and dreams for him. And the story is about offering encouragement to especially little boys. I think having 2 sons now, they're currently 8 and 4. I'm seeing how, they have insecurities and vulnerabilities at this age, which is so precious. And I want to be right there and meet their needs. But then you also think about as boys grow up, some in society, not all, but some tend to say, shake it off, wipe your tears, be tough, stop showing your feelings as our boys get older. And I found myself going, gosh, I want them to always feel safe to share their feelings. And that's how the story came about, One More Hug. And my hope that other parents and grandparents and anyone that has a little boy in their life will cherish those moments, meet their needs, and, try to always create a safe space for our boys to share their feelings. And the book just came out, and it just, like I said, came out so easily. And then I was blessed to be matched with an illustrator from Japan named Hiro Nakata. And her beautiful paintings just brought the words to life, and she illustrated the book.
Oh, it's beautiful. And the story is just, it's precious. I can imagine how many parents can relate. Lincoln isn't quite there yet where he's getting on the school bus, but I can imagine just, and hearing you share the story, I just got full, goosebumps. And it's such a good, powerful message, especially with young boys. And it reminds me of, when you're getting off the phone with someone, it's like, I love you. I love you too. No, I love you more. No, I love you more. It's like, one more hug. One more. Just one more. And then you wrote a song too. And did that come after, the idea of it come after the book was already in development? Was it right away? Was it just something that, did your publisher encourage it, or was it kind of your own thing? And tell us about the song too.
Well, the song was my idea, and this is another example of just staying in touch with people in this industry. And when I moved to Nashville, so many people in that town said, one thing that we love about country music is there's so many people that just love being a part of this industry. And even if they don't make a dime, they just enjoy the process and they enjoy people that they work with. And that is so true. I found so many years later, I had kept in touch with one of the first people I worked for in Nashville. He's a songwriter named Michael Hunter Oakes. And you would know him. Gosh, he wrote Jackie Velasquez's song On My Knees. He's written songs for Josh Groban. His music has appeared on the television shows The Simpsons and True Blood. Just an incredible singer-songwriter. And I worked for him. We joke, I was basically his intern. He did pay me a little bit, but I was his intern there working for basically nothing just to learn the industry. And we became good friends, kept in touch. And so when I got the children's book deal, I immediately thought, I need to write a song. And I picked up a phone. I called Michael and I said, Michael, I just got this children's book deal called One More Hug. It's the story of my son. I told him the whole story and I said, we need to write a song. And God bless him. He said, I'm in. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. And so I got together with Michael and my other friend and our fellow songwriter, Lucas Hogue, who is a legit country music singer-songwriter. And I sent them the manuscript once it was done and some of the sketches of the illustrations. Nothing was by any means finished yet. And we got together here in Nashville in Michael's house and wrote the song, Amy Jo, within, 2 hours. And it's loosely based on the book, but has, different words and different messages too, but still that same theme of just loving these precious moments with our kids and encouraging their feelings and then the process of putting guitar to it and taking it into the studio. And I laid down the vocals. It was just magical. And so to anyone who has a dream, I headed to Nashville in 2002 with dreams of one day recording a song and writing a song. Almost 2 decades later, Amy Jo, it finally happened. So don't give up on those dreams. It may take a while. For me, it took quite a while, but it can indeed happen.
Yes, and the road and the trajectory may not have looked exactly like you had imagined, but it is still there. It still happened. So it's just, I'm smiling from ear to ear because this is Megan the storyteller. This is a part of you. This wasn't a weekend side hustle. This is also a big component, and your capacity really is incredible. And then your ability to kind of leverage what you've been able to do in media and your connections, and this isn't compartmentalized, right? So your viewers have kids that know you, that all the people that are familiar with you from your time when you were working closer with the NFL and covering football on TV, they have kids. And it's just, it's cool to see it all come together. And it just, I could not be more happy for you. So you clearly have you have a very full life. Do you have a single time management tip that you can share with anyone?
Oh, yeah. That's a great question. Be intentional with your time. I think about that, all the time. Be intentional. When I'm with my boys and it's story time and I'm tucking them into bed, leave that phone on the kitchen counter. Don't take it into the bedroom. And that is easier said than done. I get it for all of us that feel like we're juggling a million things, but be intentional with your time and be present in the moment. So when I'm tucking them in or I'm reading them stories, I want to be 100% there for the boys. And then when I get them off on the school bus in the morning, then I know, okay, now I can dive in with my laptop and do work. When I'm traveling, I travel a ton for work, and God bless my husband. He's very supportive and helps out a lot. But he says, go enjoy this assignment or this, work project, be all in. And so I try to be intentional when I'm there and be focused and make the most of the networking. If there's a dinner the night before, I'm giving a speech somewhere. I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Oftentimes we think, I just want to crawl in my hotel room and watch a movie and eat some popcorn. Mm-hmm. My husband, we talk about, no, get downstairs and network, be intentional with that time. So just wherever you are, try to be present in this world. That's my tip. I don't know, much else how we can do it better because there's so many things flying at us with technology nowadays. But sometimes it's as simple as just turning that phone off so that you can be present in the moment that you're in.
It's a great tip. Extremely powerful. And what's one lesson, Megan, that you find yourself learning over and over again?
I had a meeting several years ago with a very high-powered agent in New York City, one of the top talent agencies. Everybody would know it. They represent the best of the best in Hollywood and in entertainment. And I had a meeting. I went into this guy's office. I was looking for new representation, wanting to take my career to the next level. I wanted to write a book. I had no books out at that point, and I also wanted to cover sports. I was loving Inside Edition and entertainment, but I just wanted to stretch and grow, and I've always loved sports, and I just wanted to cover sports. As a female, it's just a really exciting time right now with so many opportunities. And I went into his office, and I sat down, and through the whole meeting, Amy Jo, it was him looking at me and challenging all of my dreams and everything I said. And a lot of people, when they hear that story, for example, I said, I really want to write a book. And he said to me, okay, you're not that old. Who would read your book? What do you have to share at this point in your career? And then I shared with him, I really want to cover sports as a female. I love football. I've been a fan my whole life. I've played sports my whole life. And he literally said to me, there are so many people that want a job in sports as a female. It's way too competitive. What do you have to offer? Have you covered sports before? He just, pretty much slammed everything that I brought up. And I remember leaving that meeting and thinking I could go home and cry. I could give up. I could say it's not going to happen. But something in me, maybe it's all the books I've read and just all the motivational quotes that I try to fill my life with, something inside of me just said, that's one person's opinion. That's one person's opinion. Keep trying. And so that would be my tip is that was one person's opinion. If somebody discourages you from your dream, there are millions of other people out there that still need to hear your dreams. And you need to keep going after what God has planted in your soul. So I left his office. And I thought, I'm still going to go after these dreams. And Amy Jo, I sent out my book proposals for that first book to 10 different companies. I got 9 rejection letters, 9 no's. And the 10th one was one yes. One yes from Simon & Schuster. And I often think if I'd given up at even 5, the 5th rejection letter, I was starting to be discouraged. If I'd given up, my book would have never come out. So to anybody listening, all it takes is one yes. Hang in there. It's one person's opinion that turns you down, and there's millions of other people out there that still need to hear your hopes and dreams, and all you need in life is one yes. And the same thing happened with sports. I got one job offer to cover the NFL Thursday Night Football on CBS, and all it takes is one. So keep going till you get that one yes. It's out there.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you for sharing that story because we hear things like that, but then to hear the literal example, seeing is believing. And if you had a superpower that I've witnessed, that resilience and that tenacity to keep going is one of them for sure. It's pretty amazing to watch and witness. Oh my goodness, you're doing it. You're doing it. It's been fascinating to see how you've up-leveled your entire I want to say career, but it's actually much more than that. Your value to the world and service and this is such a season of expansion for you, and I'm grateful to have had the time with you. So, how can people find the book? How can people listen to the song? Connect with you? What's the best way?
Oh, the book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and your indie bookstores. It's One More Hug by Megan Alexander. And the song is actually called One More. And it will be available on Apple Music, iTunes, all of those major music distributors November 5th. The music video is on YouTube right now. Just Google One More Megan Alexander and it'll pop up. And if you want to get a personalized signed copy of the children's book, I would love to do that. Sign it for a young person in your life. Go to meganalexander.com and all the information is there.
Amazing. And Instagram, you are Megan Alexander, correct?
Instagram, I'm Megan J. Alexander 1. Isn't that silly? Somebody else.
Okay.
Megan J. Alexander 1. Somebody is Megan Alexander that never posts somewhere in the universe. So I was not able to get it. But Twitter, I'm Megan Alexander. Facebook, I'm Megan Alexander too.
Awesome. That's right. I thought there might be a twist in there, but if you even put into search in Instagram and Megan's name, you'll get her profile. It does index you well because you're so active. Well, thank you, Megan. This has been awesome. I'm just extremely happy for you, and it's amazing to see how possible it is to start bringing all aspects of our passions and our skills and our purpose into our lives, and you're doing it. You are an example of that. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Amy Jo. Honored to be on this podcast. I love all the episodes, and I love what you're all about. So look up that Renegade Bootcamp, folks. It's a game changer.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the show. Hit me up on social media to let me know what you think. I'm at Amy Jo Martin on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I want to hear your Why Not Now moments so I can share them on the show. Just send me a note to whynotnow@amyjomartin.com. For show notes and other offers, you can visit amyjomartin.com/whynotnow. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for my email newsletter for exclusive content and announcements. A big thanks to Rock Salt Music for all of the tunes by the talented John Coggins. And of course, a hat tip to Richard Brewer for editing and producing the show. I'll see you next time. And until then, why not now?